So this is my review of the Century Bob XL punching dummy. I felt compelled to write this review because I was an amateur boxer over 30 years ago. I've used really every variety of punching bag, from heavy bags to aqua bags to the Cobra bag, the reflex bar. I've used it all. And for about the last 6 weeks, I've been primarily training on the Century Bob. I've been doing everything from conditioning bag drills to just freestyle work. And I feel like I've gotten a pretty good sense as to the sustainability of doing serious boxing training, or whether you're doing boxing or MMA training. So what I decided to do was videotape myself doing some pretty light punching. I basically do about a full 3-minute round. You see here, I'm just hitting it with some jabs, some straight punches. And what you can't see is the base of the product. You notice here that I'm adjusting Bob's height. I wanted to actually include that in the footage so that you could see that it's a little bit tricky because you're just kind of going by feel. You're adjusting it on the various rungs, and it can take a minute to get it to fit just right. But I made him here just a little bit shorter than I am because I wanted to primarily focus on strikes to the head in this video. So as you see, I'm not hitting him at full power. I'm at, I don't know, 50, 60% power at the most. And there's some advantages to using Bob over the heavy bag that I'd like to discuss. The first thing is, as you see there, I'm throwing some light uppercuts. You really can't throw uppercuts on the heavy bag. You can throw uppercuts and you just kind of skim the surface, unless you do kind of a modified hook uppercut, which is kind of like what they call stuffing the uppercut. But with Bob, you can throw a little bit of a greater variety of punches. One disadvantage to using Bob is that you can't obviously move in a full circle around him and continue punching the whole time. I'm focusing here on implementing some movement, trying to use some angles, but it is a little bit more restrictive in that sense. You can never do like a full 360 as you will normally do in boxing training around Bob. But you'll notice here I'm using 4-ounce MMA gloves. Now, this was I did this intentionally because my experience using Bob is that it is a more friendly punching surface than a typical heavy bag. I like something that's a little bit pliable. I've at times even gotten headaches and other pains in my body when punching a heavy bag because I just feel like there's so much kinetic energy coming back into my body. With Bob, there's a fair amount of give. And so with the 4-ounce gloves, I've noticed that as long as I limit myself to just a few rounds of work, I don't have any problem and I don't have to really restrict my punching power or my activity too badly. But once I get beyond 5 or 6 rounds of work, my knuckles do start to hurt a bit. So if I'm doing a longer session, or if I'm doing a really intense series of conditioning drills, I'll use my normal 12-ounce gloves. You'll notice that because I'm hitting Bob pretty lightly, he is not moving dramatically during this 3-minute session. But there is, and this is probably the biggest downside, there is some gradual movement of the punching dummy across the exercise floor over the course of a full round. If you find this annoying, this will be the biggest drawback. But the fact is that after a round or two of good steady work, you will find that Bob moves, a couple of feet or even more. But over the course of this 3 minutes, I'd say Bob, he's moving almost imperceptibly, but at the end of the 3 minutes, he's moved about a good foot. So if you find that too annoying to be moving him after every couple of rounds, then maybe you'd be happier sticking with a conventional punching bag. So I would say that on a scale of 1 to 10, if I were to rate the reliability of Bob and just how comfortable I am using him as a punching and boxing training device, I'd give them a good 7.5, maybe even an 8. The only type of punching device I've used that I enjoy more is the Aquabag. I like the Aquabag a lot because it is, again, it's more friendly than the heavy bag, and also you can throw uppercuts in a greater variety of punches. So I would say overall, my experience with the Century Bob XL has been good. And even though I don't do MMA training, I've not used him for kicks or for elbows. I say that overall, if you want to use Bob for striking purposes, I rate him a good 7.5 or 8 out of 10.